So I remember a particular season in my life where I was depressed, I was angry, I was frustrated, and it felt like I was alone in everything I was facing, even though people were always around me. And it was a dark season. Sophomore year to junior year of college, it was just a hard season for sure. And I kept asking for advice, asking for help, and it seemed like every time I tried, I kept hitting every detour, every roadblock, every pothole, every dead end. Uh, you name it, it just seemed like nothing was moving. And I'm looking at God like, why aren't you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Why aren't you being God? Oh man, it was just, oh, we had plenty of yelling matches, and it just seemed as if nothing was getting anywhere. And so I remember calling this one pastor in particular in college, which will be unnamed, but shout out to you if you're listening. And I was just venting and getting all off my chest. And I just been going to this church for a little while, and it was just like, I need help. And he replied this way, and I'll never forget this on this phone conversation. He said, when God is silent, that doesn't mean he's absent. When God is silent, that doesn't mean God is absent. Now, I literally said, huh, click. Literally did. And after that, I mean, we're fine now. But after that, he had to continue to be graceful and patient with me and walk me through this season. And God redeemed all of that junior year going into senior year, all the way to this point. Like, God is a God of redemption, God of restoration, God of healing. For sure, God is. But in the season that I was in, I kept asking God to take it away. Instead, I should have been praying and asking God to walk with me through it. Now, hindsight's 2020. It's easy to look back and say that now. But in my life now, I ask more about God walking with me and not taking it away. Now, I say all this to say to you who's listening that when God is silent during your conversation with God, your prayers, God is not absent. Now, you look at the scriptures and you can find many people who are praying to God, who are asking, why is this happening? I did what you wanted. This is a sequence of questions, but they all are triggered to chain of events that will ultimately change not only the trajectory of their lives, but also the impact of other people's, for God's glory and for your good, for my good. And so, no matter what's happening when it comes to politics, racism, job loss, not having enough money, broken relationships, trying to fix not fix an addiction, but help you walk through the addiction that you're facing. Like, there's a lot of things happening. People dying from COVID-19. We're in a global pandemic. There's a lot happening in our world. A lot happening in your life, a lot happening in my life. But friends, I want to encourage and remind you two things. The first is what he told me. When God is silent, it doesn't mean he's absent. God is still working. God is still moving. And people would tell you, just have enough faith. I'm not going to tell you that. But I'm going to continue to ask you to pray for God to continue to show you that he's with you, and help him and ask him to help you feel him that you're walking through the storm, but not to remove the storm. And the second thing I'll say to you is this. God is in the rubble. He is with you in the rubble. He's with you in the storm. He's with you in the desert, the wilderness, right? All these analogies, metaphors we use just to simply say that even when it's just a mess and life is piled on top of you and you can't carry the weight of your world, let alone someone else's, remember, God is in the rubble and he won't leave you. And that's one of the most promising things, because he did say it. I'll be with you always. So, take courage, take heart, and remember that. Because in this season of life that we're all facing, we tend to forget that God moves. He moves. So, when he's silent, it doesn't mean he's absent. It means he's there, walking with you every step of the way.